Welcome once again to Computer Programming in C++. Today we're looking at processing arrays with loops. Since arrays are really a list of similar items, related items, that we can access one at a time, often it is natural to try to process these with a loop, to do the same thing over and over again in order to do this. So we're going to write a little program here that will, first of all, let's create an array, and here, let's have it be integer data type, and I'll have it be temperature like in the last example I had, but this time I'll do 12. It'll say the high temperature for each month out of the year. And then we have that set up. With that, we want to have the user type in the temperatures over and over again for a year. So let's create a loop that'll do that. Let's see, I'll need a counter for my loop, so I'll do that. I will also behave myself and put in comments. There we go. Now, this will be a for loop that I'm going to use. There are 12 months in the year. There's 12 spots in here, so I need a counter that's going to count 12 times. So we have the counter. It starts at 0 because, remember, arrays, the first element has index number 0. And then the counter will go less than 12. That way we'll stop after the 11th time through. Counter plus plus. Okay. What is this loop for? This will be a loop for entering values. So in this loop, I need to ask the user for information. So cout, enter the temp for month, space. I'll use the counter to say what month number it is. But remember, the counter starts at 0, and we don't really have a 0th month of the year. We have a first month through the 12th month, so I'll have it go plus 1. And then a little more text, period, and line. Now, just have the user put in a value. Cn will go towards temp, and in the braces we put counter, because counter will first have the value 0, then 1, then 2, all the way up through 11. So we'll store those values in my variable. So let's try running this. Build. Successful, yay. Run. So now enter the temps, and I'm not going to attempt for realism here. I just want to make sure this works. Month 10 was hot. All right. It allows you to do that. Now, this variable temp is an array. It's going to have 12 values in there, and each of its 12 different slots. We've stored that in there. Let's verify this. Let's get our program to print this out. It'd be great if I could just do this. But that doesn't work. Oh, it gives me a successful build. Let's see what it does. Okay. Look at this. It tries to print it out, and it really runs into problems. Printing that out. I'm surprised it even compiled. I bet some of your compilers there won't accept that. Temp is an array. It's a series of values. It's not the same as just a single variable. It doesn't. The computer won't know how to print that out. What we need is another loop. So I'll set this up the same way. For counter equals 0, counter less than 12, counter plus plus, braces. And now let's print out, put some text in there so the user knows what's going on. The temp in month I'll go counter plus 1 again, is and then we can print out temp, and in the brackets, the square braces there, whatever you want to call them, you put the counter. And I guess I'll finish the sentence here. Let's see how that works. Build it. Unsuccessful. Uh-oh. Oh, the spelling error. Right here in line 23. By the way, Quincy, if you're using it, tells you what line you're on in the lower right-hand corner. Try again. Okay, put in some temps. And then printed them all out. So it did store those values in, those 12 different slots after temp, and then it was able to print them out with another variable. You can, so this is introductory level here, being able to type in values with the loop, being able to print out values rather than making those 12 statements in each case, one for each memory slot within the temp array. You can do other things like compute a total or an average in processing, and I'd still use a for loop, count through item by item, and you could have another sum. Let's do a total. Calculate total. I'm going to start out exactly the same way again. Counter equals 0. Counter, if I could type it would help. Less than 12. Counter plus plus. And now I want to go through and calculate the sum. Well, I need a variable to keep track of my sums so far, so I'll make that another integer. This is just a variable, not an array. And I should give it a value before I start. Set it equal to 0 so that we have something to add on to. Now, every time we go through the loop, I want sum to get the value of the old sum with the current temperature added to it. And then after I'm done with the loop, let's print that out so we can just make sure that works. So we have the total. This doesn't make as much sense for temperatures, but that's okay. It's just an example. Not temp, sum. Okay. Rebuild and run. And total is 51. If I needed an average, you could divide, but I'll leave you with some of the things to figure out for yourself. One other addition or change I'd make here, and actually this is just a shortcut, adding on to a previous variable, we can use the plus equals command, and that will accomplish the same thing. But other than that, we did entering values with the loop, printing them out with a loop, and doing calculations with a loop. Not bad.